What happens when technology stops being just buttons and screens and starts looking back at you with moving eyes and lips? Today, we explore how AI and robots are reshaping the way humans learn, communicate, and connect. So, from building 3D printing robots in Panamanian libraries to reinventing how kids absorb knowledge, we dive deep into this big idea: technology that finally works for people and not the other way around. Let's dive in. Hey Mark, where are you? What a cool background.
Yeah, well, this is my office. Is where I work. I'm whoops, there we go. I'm inventing robot eyes today.
And that's just a normal Thursday for you?
That's a normal Thursday. Yeah,
Tell me about that.
eyes, brains, mouths.
You building the next AI Frankenstein?
Yes,
Why?
why not?
Okay, what brought you to build the next AI? You gotta give us a little more than that.
Okay. Um, so to back up and sort of start the story where it properly begins.
Okay,
I started in interactive media back in the 1970s,
cool.
1980s. And the mission has always been in my life throughout my career to make the information technology work better for people, right?
Cool.
It has to work better for us. So we went along and things developed and we ended up with the smartphone, which is
Okay.
really nice. But here we
Who's
go.
at this point? Is this like a general we?
Yeah, well, we, the industry, yeah, we, the
Okay,
industry
okay.
in the world, right?
Okay, yeah, okay,
Um,
just confirming.
and, there's a longer story behind all this, um, but these phones are really great. They have a lot of computing horsepower on our hand, but the way we're communicating with them is the same old text and pictures that we've always had. So we need to have better ways to communicate. This bandwidth of this is really low. The visual bandwidth of a smartphone is really low. If you think about how much you can see in the world and how much of it you can get through a smartphone, it's almost nothing. So we needed better ways to communicate with the technology. And now we have AI coming along, which is really the big impetus for making big changes and allowing us to make big changes. So what I've been doing over the last 10 years or so is studying neurobiology and figuring out more about how the brain processes information, incoming information and outgoing information. And it turns out that uh, when we have a face-to-face conversation, we're talking to each other as 25% of our communication is actually reading lips.
Okay,
We look at the other person's eyes, but we're actually subconsciously reading their lips.
makes sense.
And we have a whole bunch of innate actions like people look away when they're talking. This is all part of human communication. It's the micro gestures are really important in communicating
Oh.
between humans. Well, we've never had machines that could actually do this, but now we have AI, which can actually have conversations with us. So we have the ability now to have better conversations with the AI if the AI has had an actual or a realistic, not a, I should say realistic, an actual human face. So then the question is, what's the minimum human face that you can have?
Wow.
And if you think about when a baby comes out of the womb, what's the first thing they see? There's mommy and daddy, and their eyes are moving and their lips are moving. And when their lips move and their eyes move, they get fed. So, and actually, it turns out that uh, that facial recognition is actually built into our DNA. It's hardwired into us. So, having all these robots with no faces is like stupid. How do they expect anybody to communicate with robots that have no faces? Because that's the way
So
that's the way humans communicate. So, how could these
what does
robots
this
be in
look
any way
like?
considered humans? What?
Does this
Yeah,
become like, does your cell phone eventually become like a little robot that you carry that has like a face, or
that's exactly what we're building.
really?
They haven't. Yeah, they're right. Yeah, that's exactly it. And I wish I could show you one, but they're all taken apart on the bench over here right now. But
Who
we
is
could do it
we?
another time. I could send you some videos of
Please
these things.
wait, but who is we?
We is me and a guy named Michael Martis. We're um, serial entrepreneurs, shall we say? I've been doing this stuff for a long, long, long time. Um, So we're doing an event right now, which actually getting to what you're interested in and what Jam Out is
This
all
is what I'm interested in. This is awesome.
about. Well, we can
This
go
is
on and on
great.
and on. We could talk for hours about this, um, but so what we're doing is we're starting with the most elemental possible, simplest possible robot. All it
Okay.
has is a mouth and eyes, but the eyes can move like this, and its head can turn and move and all this like this. So we're teaching the AIs to talk like humans, and humans don't talk by just words. So if I talk to you, like with my head like this, we can have this whole conversation. The words are the same, right?
Yeah.
But it's deeply insulting,
Hey,
isn't it? If somebody
look,
talked
you
to you with their
same.
back turned to you, think
Hey, I have
this is
two
what all
kids.
this is what all the
They do
robots
it all
are
the
doing.
time. No,
This is what all the
absolutely.
robots are doing. The whole robot industry is completely blind to the most obvious possible thing because they're all engineers. But we've been through this before. We went through this
With
before.
what?
Well, with cell phones before the smartphone,
Yeah.
you know. So I lived and worked in Silicon Valley and worked alongside Steve Jobs and did stuff for Apple and did things. And he was the only guy that actually got it that the information technology has to work for people. That's the first thing. It has to work for people. And before the iPhone came out, everybody in the industry, everybody thought, oh, buttons are what everybody wants. Phones have to have buttons. The more buttons, the better. I don't know if you're old enough to remember the BlackBerry, right? A
I
bazillion
love the
buttons.
BlackBerry. I would
You had a
still
BlackBerry.
use it if I
You
could.
still use it. Okay, cool.
I said I would still. I would if I could.
Okay. But once the touchscreen arrived, and once the iPhone arrived, you'll notice that every phone made everywhere in the world today looks just like an iPhone.
Yeah.
So he came up with an archetypical product that
Yeah.
did everything a phone needs to do, right? And there's
Totally.
a million knockoffs, and that's fine. But somebody had to plant that seed. And so the example I use now is that a long time ago in my career, I knew Doug Engelbart, the guy who invented the mouse.
Okay.
And he was working at Xerox PARC Laboratory, and he invented this mouse. And everybody said in the lab said, "Oh, it's kind of cool. Maybe if you're doing computer graphics." And the question was, "What is computer graphics?" Because there was no computer graphics. So nobody in the industry understood the importance of the mouse. Nobody. It sat there and it languished until Steve Jobs walked in and said, "Hey, this would be cool," and put it on the Macintosh. And guess what? Every freaking computer in the world has a mouse today. Every one.
So what
So
was
I
used
know,
before a mouse?
huh? What
What was used before a mouse?
there's all command line.
Wow.
Yeah. Think about that, huh?
Yeah, okay. Okay, wait, so where were you okay, so somewhere on your timeline before making face robot telephones,
Yeah.
you probably have a cooler name, um, then you were in Silicon Valley. Where were you before that, Nathan? Because I have a feeling that, like, technology has been a part of your core for quite a while.
Gosh, for a long time. Well, I was born in Palo Alto.
Okay.
So
You were
I
in
was
it.
born there. But I ended up when I got the idea about multimedia in the 70s. And the first computer, you couldn't buy a personal computer at that point, but I could see the power of connecting computers and imagery and controlling images of computers. And I thought about, wow, you could have magazines with advertisements that were TV commercials, right? That's what I was thinking about in the 1970s. And so then by the 1980s, I made my way to New York. I was the national market development manager for interactive products at Sony, working out of their headquarters in Manhattan. And I got to work with all the Bell Labs and MIT and all those guys that were doing cool stuff at the time, and went and talked about this, and basically was an evangelist before there were evangelists, before Guy Kawasaki coined the term. That's what I did. I went around the country. I went to universities and talked about the future of interactive media. And
Well,
we knew, I mean, we had virtual reality in the 1980s. We had
yeah.
VR glasses. I got recruited to work in a VR company in the 1980s. They all said, "Oh, this is going to happen in 5 years."
So you obviously knew when AI started, like, becoming a topic, household topic, a few years ago,
Yeah.
you knew it was coming. You knew it's been here. How has, easier access to these technologies, like, changed
Sure,
for you?
sure. in huge ways. And again, we could go for hours on this because it goes to a whole philosophy of how information works. So AI is basically a universal pattern recognizer, right?
Okay.
So it can learn any language. You can talk to dolphins, you can talk to whales, you can talk to ants, you can do anything that, and all biology is based on, it all has its own languages, but this is a whole other story. So the AI is, hold on a second, I'm about to be, hello.
Yeah, you need to walk out.
Pass through.
The door.
Okay, people are going to pass
Hey,
through. Come on.
welcome.
Well, you move on over.
Okay.
You can pass
And
by.
then,
Yeah.
Bye-bye. She doesn't have to put up with my pontificating.
I mean, how long has she been putting up with it for a while now, huh?
She has been putting up with it for a while. Yeah. Long suffering comes to mind. Where were we here? Okay, so AI is a universal pattern recognizer, and it has big implications in terms of how information works. I've always thought and known that we could absorb information much faster than anybody thinks.
As humans.
Humans, yeah.
Okay.
The way you're taught in school, it's like sleeping. So one of the experiments that I did a long time ago was an unwitting experiment. We did a system for the state of Alaska. It was basically Google Street Maps, but before Google existed.
Okay.
And we photographed the roads in Alaska, 100 pictures a mile. And when you look at the video, you're going along at a constant speed, even though the truck that recorded it is going faster and slower. It looks like you're going at constant speed. And what it turns out is it looks like you're going fast, but it doesn't look like that fast. And I asked in my
Sorry, how many miles per hour did you say?
Well, the car that's recording is going 50 or 20 or 10 or 0 or whatever. It had a digital odometer, so it took a picture every 53 feet. So there's 100 pictures every mile. And from that, you can calculate the speed.
Got it.
Okay. I would show this to audiences and say, well, how fast does it look like we're going? And no one ever guessed more than 120 miles an hour. No one. Engineers, university professors, everybody, nobody ever guessed more than that. In reality, you're going 1,200 miles an hour. Wow. and people look at it and go, wow. First, they don't believe it. Then they figure it out and they go, wow. Well, I could do that. It doesn't even look fast. It doesn't even look fast once you get used to it. So the way driving works is because perceptually, it's like sleeping to us. We can do it no matter how whacked out we are.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Right. I mean, think about how good we are about driving these cars and, New York City and traffic and all of that. I mean, nobody ever touches, people.
Just don't ask my husband, but yes, I'm very good at driving cars. Continue, Mark. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah. So
wait, but I'm missing something. Okay. Where is this connection between catch me up. I want to get a little bit more up to speed. No pun intended.
So what I've discovered is that people can learn much faster than we think they can learn.
We can be that car.
We could be the car. Yeah, okay. We can learn. Okay. We can learn 100 times faster. And now you start to see it in the way TikTok works. Right?
Okay.
You've got a little tiny screen.
Yep.
So to get information through it, it's got to go fast.
Okay.
Because otherwise you get bored. Right? With a big computer screen, we can take our time and read the screen. And that's the way all of us grew up before TikTok. And I don't know about you, but before TikTok.
Yeah. No.
And you take your time, you read the whole screen. But if the screen is only the size of a smartphone, you can't read the whole damn screen. You don't want to read the whole screen. So the information has to come faster. So this is what I'm looking at, is how do we get it going really faster? So if we can teach kids with TikTok, right? So if you want to make kids learn to read, you don't teach them by sitting them in a classroom and going, man, this is a cat. No, you go, cat dog, put it to music, and away you go. And so this little company in England that we discovered, it's making these little robots. They're called obots, and I can send you a video of them.
Please.
They discovered they started making these things, and they make their videos to show kids how to program them like TikToks. First you
Okay.
do this, and then
Okay.
you go there, and then you go here, and then you go there. And everybody looks at those and goes, "Oh, I get it."
Wow.
It's
Okay.
not even like learning. You say, "Oh, this is effortless to learn."
So are you making an
But
obot behind you?
yeah,
That's an obot. Okay. Full circle. Yeah.
well,
Great.
that's
Cool.
that's that's an I for an OBOT. We're rescaling it. So here's the
Okay.
deal. So here's the
Yeah.
deal. OBOT is a company in England, and they make these little robots. They've been doing it for 10 years.
Okay.
They sell
I'm
them to
with you now.
schools. It's a little company, 10 people, and but they discovered something really fundamental, like the mouse. They discovered that you have to, if you have a mouth that lip syncs and eyes that move around and look at you and do stuff, people relate to it like a human.
Wow.
Everybody that watches these robots goes, "Wow, these are cool." So how do I get one of these?
Wow.
So my contention is that in 10 years, every robot in the world is going to have prehensile eyes and mouth and realistic face gestures. The way they're doing it now is complete bullshit. The people are trying to make realistic faces. The problem with it is, I'm talking really fast here, but the problem with it is as soon as
Hey,
you put
I'm a fast learner.
good, I get that. By the way, I love your business model. I think you're really
Oh,
right on.
well, thank you.
I went through the whole, yeah.
It's mainly jam. I just am very fortunate to be a small part of it, and I love learning how others are using AI because
Yeah.
I mean, Jam,
Yeah.
she knows what she's talking about. I'm like about 1,000 steps behind her, and to me, I just feel grateful to be on this train. Yeah,
Yeah. Uh,
thank you.
so the robots are basically the robots are just basically skeletons. The wires are hanging out. It just looks like a little thing, and kids build them. They build their own robot, and then they train it to have a personality because it's hooked up to ChatGPT.
Crazy.
So they can create their own person. Okay,
Well,
actually talk with them and have conversations with them.
when we first started talking about this, I was like, this is Frankenstein. And then the more that we talk, it's like this isn't that
No,
this isn't that crazy actually. These are
no, at
this is
all.
yeah. Okay.
Sort
Wow.
of the opposite of Frankenstein, actually.
Yeah, fair. Wow.
Yeah.
So is Obot, are you a customer of Obot or are you
Yes, they're a little company. They distribute in Europe and England mostly. And it's like, yeah, like I said, 10 people. They do it. They live in a converted farmhouse in the back country of England somewhere, and they make these things.
okay?
And so I've made a deal with them to do joint development with them because
Cool.
I know the development part of it
Very cool.
real well and have access to resources for that. So they have nobody in Latin America. So basically, we can do what we want in Latin America. They can do what they want in Europe. We both benefit from the collaboration. We tell them what we're doing, and they help us. So it goes back and forth. And
So what's next for you then? Like what?
well, okay. So this comes down to your business plan. So here's how we used AI to leverage this thing into existence. I discovered the old bots and started messing around with them. And I said, wow, these are really cool. And one day, the guy who founded the Boquete Library, how much do you know about Boquete?
I live in Anastasios and I'm from Panama.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So you know Boquete.
Yeah. Most of our listeners don't, but they should come visit.
Okay, cool. So the library in Boquete is a private foundation founded by Bryce Peterson, right? So one day Price was at my house and we were showing him another project that I did, which is a big scale 3D printed model of a volcan Baru.
Okay,
It's
cool.
very cool. And we project.
Wait, I have to show you. Not as cool, but we just did volcanoes for my kids. Again,
Cool.
my paper, baking soda and vinegar volcano are probably not excited, but hey, I'm just trying to relate. Okay, continue.
Are they asking for 3D printers yet?
But they don't know what they are, luckily.
Okay.
Okay. But okay.
You have weeks. You have weeks to go.
For real. 3D print copy of Vulcan. Why? First of all,
Well, it's 4 feet by 4 feet,
okay.
and we project the image from the satellite, from Google satellite view, right, onto it. Rather than painting it, we project the image of the landscape onto it. So we can show, here are the coffee growing areas, here are the trails, here are the maps, we can highlight parts,
Where
we
is
can put
this?
things on it.
Where? Where is this?
It's at Emily's Bees and Butterflies.
Wait, really?
Here's another person you should talk to. You should do a podcast with, is Emily.
I know Emily.
You know Emily?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, well, there you go.
English Emily, right?
Huh?
English
Yeah.
Emily? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. She's got
No,
your
Dutch, English Emily.
from Boquete Bees and Butterflies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know her.
Yeah. Okay. Wait, so
We're all in the same town here. Cool.
yeah, I mean
That's
we're
very cool.
more or less. Wait, so okay.
She
I
wanted
think
it in a visitor center.
did I lose you again, Mark? Okay. How did we get
No,
from
I'm
AI
here.
to volcano?
The volcano. And so what we're talking about, so I made a 3D model of the volcano and I showed it to Price Peterson, and we had the obots there also sitting there. We demoed it to him, and he said, "Oh my God, I've got to have this in the library. I want to replace the librarians." Just like
No,
that.
they're great. They're so nice. Okay, but I hear you. Okay.
So then the question was, and everybody at the library, so the library in Boquete, Nick Choi has taken over the leadership of it as the chairman.
Okay.
And his mission is to reinvent the library
Wow.
and turn it from being a passive repository of books to being a beacon of knowledge,
Cool.
and to AI enable the library.
Whoa.
So
That's
here's a
kinda
cool story
creepy.
for you. This is coming right into your domain here. So we said, wow, well, that's a cool idea. How do you do that? And so Michael and I immediately said, well, we're a company. We can help you do this.
Yeah.
And we're, unpaid volunteers, but we're doing it. And they said, wow, that's really cool. But they said, you know what? There's actually a grant that's closing in 3 weeks that could fund this thing. And I can't.
Scam like
Yeah.
this one. 6 5.
I love this. Scam likely. Goodbye.
And
Closing
was
in
the
3
grant
weeks
an
to
American?
potentially fund this program.
Is that a Panamanian grant opportunity?
It's done. We got the grant.
But where do you get it from? Also, major congrats.
Remember we made what?
Where did the grant come from? Like, what was it? A
Well,
U.S.
okay.
organization or?
No, from Panama.
Wow.
And I can't tell you the specific agency yet because they're
But
still,
congrats.
the grant has been given, but until it's all finalized in public, which will be in another month or two. Yeah, exactly. But here's how we did it. We had 3 weeks. I didn't know the real foundations of the library. I didn't know really how it worked. I certainly didn't know how this granting agency worked. Never heard of it before, right? But I said, okay. And I went to Manus, as it turned out, thanks to Emily. She's doing Manus all the time. I went to Manus and I said, I want you to give me a research report on robotics labs and STEM education labs around the world, best practices, what they need for funding, what they need for curriculum, what is the best practices for this and that and the other thing, for all the different elements of building one of these things and making it a world-class lab. Well, shit, in 30 minutes, there it is. We had a 17-page business plan. And so we took that and then did some more research of the same kind. Tell us best practices for teacher training of robotics labs around the world. And there you got it. You go to Perplexity and boom. So
That's awesome.
in 2 weeks, 2 ladies working at the library were able to put together a world-class grant proposal that out of 9 proposals that they had was the one they picked.
It's amazing.
And that's the only reason that we're able to do that.
Yeah,
because we were able to use AI to do what would have taken 6 months or a year,
Okay.
2 weeks before.
Wow.
So that's how AI is changing our life in a very tangible way and in an incredibly accelerated way. Now we're like, okay, we need a proposal from the guys in England. We need a proposal about how to do X, Y, and Z. And they say, okay, we'll get back to you in a couple of weeks. And we're like, well, how about in 30 minutes?
How do the obots though? The obots I understood were like for communication, for eye and mouth. How do those help with turning this library into a world-class library? I mean,
Yep.
what's that connection?
Yep. Well, one project, we have a lot of projects working.
I believe you, Mark. I believe that you probably have a lot of projects.
So I can't say that any of these will or won't happen necessarily, but they will. One of them is they have a lot of books in the library, but only 10% ever get checked out.
Okay.
Think about that if you're a library. So how efficient is it having this big building filled with books that nobody looks at?
Okay.
So the one thing they want to do is they want to have AI do book reviews of everything in the library so it can make recommendations.
Based on,
so you say, well, you like that Sherlock Holmes book, maybe you should look at Agatha Christie and this, and we have these books, right?
Cool. And that's very quantitative. It's, hey, we're trying to get this metric of move from 10% to 25%, for example. Okay.
Sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Make the library more
used.
We're thinking way beyond that. But the program for the robot lab, I think, is the most interesting thing for me anyway. So what we'll have in there, these obots can be 3D printed. There's just some servos and a little cheap Arduino board, and it's cheap junk. But you can 3D print the structure of these things. So the way it works is the kids come and sign up, and it's not a forced thing. The kids will be invited to come. We'll open the lab to anybody who wants to come.
Amazing.
And work there. And so the idea is the kids come, they build their own robot. They 3D print it. Not all of them are going to 3D print it, but some will do a lot of 3D printing and some will put the robots together. So they come, they build their robot. So they learn how it works. They pick a curriculum topic that they're going to specialize in. And it's back to, it's what Google is promoting now. Oh, we're going to teach kids what they're interested in. Well, duh.
And the obot teaches the child.
And vice versa. So the kid builds the obot and says, okay, my subject is starfish. So now the kid has to go out and go on AI and with his robot say, hey, help me research starfish. And the obot can work. The obot can also just have a computer screen next to it, so it can show people stuff.
Okay.
So it's sitting there and it's got a screen. It can pull up stuff and show them pictures and do web searches and stuff. And like a person, just like you were sitting with a person. So, so they're going to then research starfish, but they not only have to research starfish, but they have to figure out how to ask the right questions so that other people can learn about starfish, because they're going to then take their robot and make it teach other kids.
Where? In what kind of setting?
In a classroom or one-on-one or however it works out. The whole point is that they have to create a teacher to teach a subject. And in the process of doing that, they learn critical thinking.
Yeah.
Because they have to learn to analyze. They learn how to use AI. Very important.
These kids are 3D printing teachers?
Yeah. How cool is that?
Wow.
Yeah, think about that. No big corporations, no nothing. This whole thing is going to go open source if I had anything to say about it. Just we're open source. Put the plans out. Let the 3D makers go crazy everywhere in the world making these things.
But where's the balance? Like, how do we keep it for good?
Well, well, they're not very good sex bots, as it turns out.
I could trust judgment on that one. Okay.
Yeah, right. Well, they may be better than my husband,
I'll trust you on that one, right? Okay. But
I'm sorry.
But can they array? Can they psych out? Can they
well, anything a GPT can do, they can do.
Yeah. I mean, okay.
So here's the thing. schools are really concerned about having GPT in the classrooms
Yeah.
because of because the guardrails, right? They're all
Yeah.
worried about guardrails. So where I think this is going, looking to skate to where the puck is going to be, not where it is today, in very short order, we're going to have local large language models running on our smartphones in very short order.
Okay.
6 months, a year. Yeah, we can run LLMs locally. You certainly could run one on an NVIDIA robot PC. The thing they're selling for $250, they're putting in the robots.
I don't.
One of those.
I
one of
don't
those
know
little
that.
guys. Okay.
Okay. Oh
One
my
of
God.
those little
I don't
guys
know.
could run a whole classroom full of robots.
Wow.
And so each kid could have its own large language model. That's it. That's theirs. What I want is what I want. I want to have my own AI that is mine and
Why?
knows me, huh? Because I want to
Why?
feed it everything that I know. I want to talk to it. I want to have conversations with it. But mainly, I want it to have access to all the information that I currently have in these stupid computers that we can never find anything in.
Wow.
And computers are we're going to look back at computers and say, man, these were really stupid devices. How do we put up with them for 50 years? I mean, they're just fancy clocks.
So when do I get to do a checkup, like a status update on this project? When is a good time to come back and be like, how tell us where everything's going, how everything's going?
5 o'clock? No. It's like when the library people were talking to us, they said, well, if we get this and and we say we're ready to go, how long would it take you to set up? And I said, an hour.
That's unheard of here in Panama.
Yeah, we have space in the library allocated. We're dedicating it for organizing for that. As far as to come back check up, in a month or two,
let's do it.
It will be plenty. Yeah.
So cool. So cool. I want to come see it. I want to bring our laptop.
Where are you living now? You told me, but I forgot.
We're in Anastasio, so it's like between Dolega and David.
Oh shit. Well, just down
Not
the
that
street.
far.
You can come up anytime. Come and visit, please.
Yeah, we do. We're always there for sure. For sure.
Okay. And Vivian. Vivian's a good friend.
Totally.
Vivian Demir. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Huh.
Cool. Mark, I look forward to meeting you in person soon.
Likewise. That would be really, really fun. Flora, I'm going to introduce you to my wife here.
Hi.
Flora, this is Flora.
Hi.
Nice to meet you. What's your name?
Martine.
Martine. Mucho gusto. Cool.
Okay, good.
They live down between Dolega and David.
Between the leg and the
So
like it warm.
You like it warmer.
Yeah, for sure. Well,
Okay.
well, thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful afternoon, and I'm really excited to follow this project. It's really cool.
And I hope that this is also sort of an object example for the people that are coming into your program.
Thank you.
You can actually invent businesses in no time.
I mean, the amount of cool things people do in this world is just there's a lot of people, really cool people doing really cool things, and you're one of them, and I'm really grateful to have this conversation. So thank you again, Mark.
Well, thank you. Very nice to talk to you, Flora.
Talk soon. Ciao.
Bye-bye.
Thanks again. Bye, Martine.
Bye-bye.